Hi guys, so I'm a bit late with this video, but you know the saying. So this is a clip of Boris Johnson back in 2020, back on Christmas Eve when he presented the public his trade deal with the European Union. Oh, it feels just like yesterday. Well, how did it go? I think we all know the answer to that. But I do think it's interesting to look back at the optimism that existed at the time. Let's hear what he had to say back in 2020.
And by the way, tonight, on Christmas Eve, I have a small present for anyone who may be looking for something to read in that sleepy post-Christmas lunch moment.
Something to read. Isn't it interesting that the minister responsible for fisheries didn't read it? She agreed to it. She said it was a fantastic deal, but she hadn't read it. And she was doing some other activity, some Christmas activity, while the negotiations had been going on, and when they had been completed and Boris Johnson delivered his deal, well, she didn't bother to read it.
And here it is. Tidings, glad tidings of great joy, because this is a deal to give certainty to business and travellers and all investors in our country from the 1st of January.
Certainty. Obviously, we've seen over the last 12 months the opposite of certainty. Chaos. Businesses not being able to export, not sure what paperwork they needed. And then eventually we saw how businesses had to relocate to the European Union because of the extra paperwork as a result of Brexit. Boris Johnson promised certainty. He delivered chaos. And then he mentioned travellers as well. Well, we saw the impact of people travelling to the European Union as well.
A deal with our friends and partners in the EU. You remember the oven-ready deal?
We remember the oven-ready deal, all right.
By which we came out on January the 31st. That oven-ready deal was just the start of this is the feast.
The oven-ready deal that Boris Johnson has been distancing himself from. The oven-ready deal that Lord Frost wanted to tear up 6 months, not even 6 months, 4 months after it was signed. Well, not signed, but 4 months after this deal was signed. So the oven-ready deal that Boris Johnson wanted to tear up was just the beginning. And this was the feast.
Full of fish.
Full of fish. Isn't it interesting that he's not going and delivering this to the fishermen today? He hasn't met with the fishing communities to explain to them how his deal is full of fish. And what is he talking about here? You know, we tend to forget about this. But last year in 2020, all that Boris Johnson talked about when it came to Brexit was fish. We're going to look after our fishing communities. We're going to make sure our deal is fish focused. And I've mentioned before how the fishing industry is as big as the lawnmower industry in Britain, but that doesn't make any difference to Brexiteers. Fish was the issue, and well, we've seen the results of that. And I covered the consequences for the fishing industry going ahead. £20 million lost between 2020 and 2021. Between 2021 and 2022. Full of fish, yes.
By the way. And I believe it will be the basis of a happy and successful and stable partnership with our friends in the EU for years to come.
And what have we seen? Instability. We've seen antagonism between Boris Johnson's government and the European Union, obviously over Northern Ireland.
So that's it. That's the good news from Brussels. Now for the sprouts, and a happy Christmas to you all.
Okay, so how did it go? It went very swimmingly, didn't it? It was a disaster, and it's just about to get worse. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.